What's up, guys? It's Mike here for you, bringing you a accessory review tonight. This is going to be on the new Predator Bowl, and this was sent to me by Alex at 5starhookah.com. So huge thanks over there for the chance to try this new product out and give it a honest review. So here we go. Basically, what the Predator Bowl is, folks, if you're unaware, is a comparison to a Tangier's funnel bowl. It is designed to smoke Tangiers, but what has been happening is some folks are having problems with some of the newer Tangiers funnels where basically they're sucking the foil down onto the spire, thus preventing a good good airflow during their session. So basically what the Predator Bowl is, hopefully you can tell, right there on the top of the spire there is a little bridge that sticks up, and it will prevent the foil from getting sucked down onto the spire. Now, as you're turning the bowl, hopefully you can see that it does actually protrude a little bit over the rim. And one thing to note, speaking of the rim, and I don't know if this is the case on all of the Predator Bowls or if it's just mine, but the rim is not quite even. You can tell it just kind of goes up a little bit. Not by much, not enough to really complain a lot about, but something worth pointing out. I think a lot of the concerns that I have with this bowl are in its aesthetics, excuse me, I can't say that. Anyway, in its appearance, and I know I don't have the best camera, so hopefully you're picking this up, but some, little flaws in the glaze and the finish of the glaze. I think the finishing of the glaze could use a little bit of work, but otherwise it's a great concept, and I look forward to telling you more about it. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and show you basically how I pack this. Just reposition the camera here. Excuse me for the lengthy video, but a lot of times with product reviews that will happen. I'm going to be smoking Ololiuki, and of course this is of the Burkuk line. Main thing to remember when packing this bowl, you're going to pack it just how you would pack any other Tangiers that you smoke and that you pack any other way. For instance, if you're smoking Noor, pack it dense. If you're smoking Burkuk, not so dense. If you're smoking Lucid, pretty much pack it however you want. Dense, fluffy, which is kind of the same thing with Burkuk, but with Burkuk I usually pack it semi-dense, not quite as dense as I would Noor, but denser than what I would Lucid. And that's the general idea. And you're going to pack it basically the same way that you would any other Tangier's funnel, basically to the top of the spire there, not to the top where the bridge is, but just to the top of the spire. And polish it off. So basically just like that. Hopefully you can still see. Anyways, guys, as far as the foiling, shiny side down, because that's what society says to do. Now, one thing you want to do when you're foiling the Predator Bull is, as I showed you, that bridge of the spire protrudes above the rim. So you do want to make it as tight as possible like you would anything else, but you don't want to pull it down very, very fast. You kind of want to go a little slow, be gentle with it so that you don't rip a hole and that bridge comes poking through the top of the foil. As far as hole pattern is something that is a little bit different for everybody else, so whatever works for you works for you. With this being Burke, I don't put quite as many holes as I would if I were smoking Nor, but I still give it its generous amount of holes. With this bull, one thing I didn't mention is its size. It's pretty much, I guess, would be roughly about the size of a 7 Eco bull, which I don't have one of those. I do have a Pico bull, and this is bigger, deeper, but it's not nearly as big as my Tangier Small, and it seems to be, as far as how much tobacco it holds, it seems to be roughly the same as what my Alien Funnel Bowl does. So hopefully that gives you an idea as far as the size. But regarding the size, I have noticed that with some of the people that do have these, there is quite a little bit of a noticeable difference in sizes. I think that if there was an actual size chart, such as a Predator Small, Predator Medium, Predator Large, so forth and so on, and there were slight differences in the sizes, such as in comparison with the Tangier Smalls and the Tangier's Mediums, so forth and so on, then the size differences that people are noticing would become less of an issue. They would be given the option of what size they would like to purchase, and then the very little differences in the sizes, because they are all handmade, would be less of a concern for purchasers. Or yeah, if you were to buy it, if you were to purchase it somewhere, I know that I would like to have a size choice. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pack this up, get it loaded up on the rig, and come back, show you how it smokes. Be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. I've got things going, so I'm going to go ahead and try to wrap this up. I don't want the video to get too long. So I've been going quite a while now. I'm in my second round of coals. I'm using 2 Cocoa Blaze coals, heavy duty single layer foil, water in the base, fancy hose, and I'm using my Caravan rig. So let's see what we have. As you see, wonderful, thick, full-bodied Tangier's clouds. Always going to get great clouds from Tangier's, and this is no exception. It performs just like any other Tangier's funnel. Now, as far as the overall functionality, yes, as you can see, it has wonderful airflow based on the clouds that I'm getting. As far as the heat disbursement, it's dispersing heat evenly. I'm not having any problems with it as far as heat management goes, so that's a plus. And that is also, I think, because it's using the same material as a Tangier's funnel, the same type of clay. So it's basically a Tangier's funnel, but not made by Tangier's. As far as the overall product, one thing that I was concerned about when I first looked at the bull was the protrusion of the bridge where it actually sat above the rim. I thought that was going to create a little bit more of a slope going to the rim and thus could potentially cause your coals to roll around the bowl once they got smaller. I haven't had too much of that at all, so I am really surprised about that. And another reason I was concerned about the coals rolling was because of this particular bowl, the one that I got, where I showed you at the beginning. The rim of the bowl is just uneven. It just varies all the way around the bowl. It's not a flat surface, so I thought that the coals were going to roll around more than they do, but again, not an issue. I'm trying to think if I've covered everything. As you can see, it does fit on the stem of the hookah nice and snug, so that's not a concern. As far as my rating, I'm going to go ahead and rate this like I would a tobacco flavor based on the inhalation inspired rating, which I have recently switched over to. It's a scale of 100 based on 5 categories: flavor, longevity, smokability, consistency, and appearance. As far as the flavor, when it comes to the bowl, you know, whatever bowl that you're smoking out of relates to the flavor that you're going to get. So I am getting wonderful flavor, just like I would out of a Tangier's funnel, so no points off of that. Longevity, again, I'm on my second round of coals, haven't lost hardly any flavor at all, and I know that I'm going to complete this second round of coals, so no points off there. Smokability, this was one area that I was going to put the coal rolling issue in, so without having any of the coal rolling, it makes it very easy to smoke. It doesn't have any heat management issues that I've had, so smoking it is not a problem. Consistency. Here is one area that I do want to touch on. I mentioned earlier in the video that I think there should be a size chart of the Predator bowls, a small, medium, large, so forth and so on. That way, in the case that you buy a small Predator bowl, of course, because they're handmade, there's going to be small differences in sizes. But as is the way they stand right now, there's a much more noticeable difference between each particular Predator bowl. So I just think that with a size chart, people can choose the size that they want, and then of course, like I say, there's going to be less differences as far as the size goes within each particular size range. So I'm going to knock just a few points off for the consistency of the bowl. I think I'll knock off 5 points for that. Now, as far as the appearance, this was my main concern on the bowl. I showed you there were some defects in the finish of the gloss, or of the glaze, and the rim of the bowl. Even though it's not causing any coal rolling like I thought that it would, it's still fairly unattractive to have the rim varying as you go around the bowl. So I am going to knock some points off for that. I think aesthetically wise, this bowl could use some work, but I think it has the potential to be an excellent bowl once it looks like an excellent bowl. So I'm going to knock off 7 points on the 20-point scale for appearance. So that leads me with a 12-point deduction, bringing my final score for the Predator bowl an 88 out of 100. It's a wonderful bowl. I do recommend it if you have problems with your foil sagging or getting sucked down into the foil. You don't want to put a pin in it or a poke or anything like that. I do recommend this bowl. It's a nice size bowl. It's not too big, not too small, so it's good for like a solo session or even a couple-hour session with friends. One thing, it will not work with the Lotus. Guys, this was not designed to work with the Lotus, so please keep that in mind and don't go thinking, oh, just because it doesn't work with the Lotus, it's not very good. This is not the case. It wasn't designed for the Lotus. So I think that's all I got for it. Another big thanks to Alex at 5starhookah.com for sending this my way. 88 out of 100 for the new Predator bowl. If you can, please comment, like, and subscribe. And until next time, smoke on.